This is the plaintiff, Rachel Bremholst. She says the defendants are former bosses owe her for flowers she provided at their wedding. And no matter what she does, she can't seem to get them to pay her what they owe. The defendants go on vacation, spend money all over town, but won't pay her for her services? Come on. She's suing for $600, the amount she's owed, plus pain and suffering. These are the defendants, Carol and Sean Davenport. Sean says they paid the plaintiff in full for the flowers she provided for their very small wedding. They have no idea why this woman's seeking more money 3 years after their business was concluded. But hey, it's a free country, and if she wants to have her day in court, then so be it. They're accused of a flower foul.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Let it get that much one.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Rachel Bremholst, you are suing Mr. and Mrs. Davenport for $600 that you say they owe you, $400 of it, the balance on flowers you did for their wedding, and $200 for aggravating you. Tell me what's going on.
Well, in 1,000 words or less, I worked with Carol at a plant job company. We take care of interior plants, and she got engaged to Sean in January of that year, 2013. And she knows my flower background. I worked at a flower shop, and she liked my work I was doing with her at the company, so she asked me to be their florist. And she ended up leaving that company, and I was still working there, but we met a couple times to discuss her flowers. We met for lunch at a Bertucci's. She invited me out to the warehouse of the company she went to work for to get flowers, silk flowers, artificial ones, to do several arrangements for her ceremony.
What was the agreement between you two? Did you have a contract, a written contract?
No, it was all verbal.
Okay, and you were going to do what for how much money?
Well, we kept talking. She kept saying, I want this, I want that, then things would change. She wanted personal flowers, fresh flowers for like her maid of honor, the flower girl, the boutonnieres for the men, a big, huge mantelpiece over the fireplace of fresh flowers. And she provided the silk flowers, the artificial ones from her company she was working for, to go in arrangements that I made to go up to the Justice of the Peace, like to line the walkway. But I went to a wholesaler to get fresh flowers for all the personal things, the bouquet, bride's bouquet.
How much were you supposed to get paid?
Well, we never really discussed it.
Really? That's how you all do business, and then you come crying to me.
Yes.
So it was good enough for you not to have a price, and it was good enough for you not to have a price, and now you disagree on what the price should be, and both of you think you're all in the right. That's amazing. Go ahead, go on.
Well, I also had a big S on my forehead because I was very trusting.
No, that's not trusting. You have a big S on your forehead because what? You're a sucker?
Yes.
No, you have a big S on your forehead because you're stupid. Because
That too.
you are trying to do a job that you are expecting to get paid for, and you have no consensus of what you're going to get paid to do the job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing.
But what?
Well,
That has not. What is the reason that you would do that as a businesswoman?
Because I was still. Well, we were friends because she asked me to do the flowers.
So stop. Work with me here on that one thing you said. We were friends. And therefore what? Because the person I want to keep as a friend is the person who is my friend. So the last thing I would want to do is have a figure in my head that doesn't jive with the figure in her head. You see? Right. So how do I know if I'm allowed to spend $1,200? How do I know how much I can spend if the subject of money doesn't come up? It had to have come up at some point.
Well, it came up that day of the wedding when I did.
The same day of the wedding? Wait a minute. How do you know how much you can spend on fresh flowers if you don't know what their budget is?
Because when we were discussing the things that she wanted, being a florist, I knew what to get.
But did you say to her, look, these fresh flowers are at a minimum are going to cost you X? Did you ever talk anything about the prices?
I can't recall.
You were invited to the wedding, right?
Yeah, we went to the wedding,
okay.
My son and I. I said to her, she said, can I pay you later because I spent way too much on other things, and can I pay you in installments? And I said, sure, that's no problem. I figure we're friends. She's going to be my boss. It's going to be fine.
Did you end up working for her?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So then after they come back from their honeymoon, you send an invoice?
Yeah, I gave it to her.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, great. And she gave me 2 small payments over the course of the next 2 years. $100 September of 2013 on the 28th, $200, I'm sorry. And then $100 the following February 6th of 2014. And
she paid you another $100?
Yep, so she kept.
Where's the invoice that you gave them?
The invoice, it was handwritten, I gave her a copy of it.
Right. So what is this? This is the original invoice?
Yes.
But you gave her a copy of it?
Yes.
Okay. So your bill was $649, and according to you, she paid you $300, correct?
Correct. Cash 2 different
So
times.
she should owe you $349, not $400, right? Did she pay you anything else besides the $200 and the $100?
No. And then during the course of my employment there, she'd say, oh, I know I owe you money. And I said, okay, great. You know, when you get it, that's great. And
How many years were you waiting?
Well, I left.
I mean, the wedding was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in August.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm a pretty patient person, again, with that big S on my forehead. I was too nice, too stupid.
When did you start working for her company?
Right after the wedding was like the 10th of September, 2013.
So she pays you in September, she pays you in February of the following year of 2014, and then you never see anything else?
Nope, it was
And then when
referenced.
do you sue? You decide to sue after you no longer work for that company.
Correct.
And why did you stop working for that company?
I just didn't like how things were being managed. We had some disagreements.
And she had disagreements?
Yeah, a little bit.
What were
of
the disagreements?
A little bit of a fallout. How I'd done something for her, a job at the company.
So you quit in July and you don't file the lawsuit until when?
It was a few weeks ago.
Okay, so I see in all of the emails and letters that you send, you never once say how much is owed. How come you don't say how much is owed in those?
I don't know. I guess
I don't know either. All right, so talk to me and tell me what happened
Okay,
here with
so-
your wedding.
So we talked about her doing flowers. I was looking for a florist. She said, you know, I do flowers, and I didn't know her flower work. I only knew her holiday design work. But because her holiday design work, you know, I really liked, I thought that was a good idea to do it. We'd never had a contract, which is really dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
I
why?
know.
So what was your agreement? Was that you would pay her what?
So when we didn't talk about any money, she said that she would charge us materials plus cost, labor, to do the job.
Well, materials plus labor is a bill, and so
Right, so there wasn't any particular, she never gave me an invoice. And then.
what did you think you were going to spend, and why?
Well, when we met at the Hale Reservation,
Okay.
all right, I had actually mentioned to her, you know, this is a $300 budget. At that time, I had said to Rachel that this is a $300 budget.
Did anybody ever tell you this is a $300 budget?
I don't recall that.
Right. Okay, this is where contracts come in handy. Go ahead.
So she had done the flowers and had done more than we had asked for.
What was more than you had asked for? They were bigger than each thing was bigger, or were there extra things?
There was extra flowers.
What was the extra thing?
So the extra things were she did an arrangement that was on the bottom of the fireplace. She did another arrangement, like a floor arrangement, I think, and then she did another silk arrangement for in front of the chapel. Do you have those?
And you had not asked her for that?
No, she
Is
said.
that accurate?
I did them because I had extra flowers and I hate wasting, and she was thrilled to pieces. And I wasn't charging her any more than basically
Well, we
the
don't
cost.
know. We don't really know, do
Well,
we?
no,
Because
but-
you don't give a price
Yeah.
beforehand, you give a
I
price
have-
afterwards. You both agree, everybody agrees that all you've paid is $300, right?
No, that is
Oh,
not
you don't
true.
agree? Okay.
No.
How much do you say you paid her?
Sean has the dates and amounts.
We paid her $300 right after our honeymoon, which I think was close
Do
to
you
2
have a
weeks
receipt
after
for the
thing.
300?
She paid her in cash
cash,
out of our
yep.
honeymoon money. We paid.
You don't have a receipt, how am I supposed to know how much you paid her?
I know.
Go on.
She paid her another $150 in the August-September time, around that
No,
area.
November, I think it was.
November, okay, so
Do you
probably
have a
when she
receipt
was.
for that?
No.
This was 3 years ago. How am I going to you're just going to
And
shoot off a number?
Then
and I'm
in February, I'm sorry, John. In
50.
February 5th, she went to her house and she gave her $250.
Okay, well, I have an issue. That would mean that you've paid her $700
Yeah.
on a bill that's $649. So your math cannot be right.
I never got a bill. I never got an invoice. I still didn't
Well,
know.
what were you going to do? Just pay her until the ends of the
She
earth?
kept asking me for money. Every time there was problems with something like her cat Denny or whatever, she wanted more money.
I'm sorry, but why would you give her more money on a bill that you, according to you still don't know how much you're going to pay for the
I know.
flowers?
I know.
No, that can't be truthful.
It is truthful.
What? I'm sorry. It is now 6 months after your wedding, and you just keep paying money, but you don't know how much or when it's going to end. Well, then you're nuts.
Yes, I am.
I wouldn't be
I
here.
don't understand.
Yeah, I know. The whole thing was really done
But
inappropriately.
who does that?
I know, my husband
so
said-
wait a second. So then when were you going to know when to stop money? When your husband cried uncle?
He
stopped
said,
her.
stop
I stopped
paying her.
Sometimes I didn't know what she was doing till after the fact. So I
And
had
he
to
said
stop
you
her.
should start writing checks. Why aren't you writing checks? right? So,
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is it more important or less important to get a written contract when you're dealing with friends?
Probably more important.
Because?
You can always refer back to it.
Well, that's the case, though, whether it's a friend or not a friend.
I would get a written contract regardless of who it is.
Okay, who thinks it makes a difference? Does it make a difference?
It absolutely does. What? Some things are implied with friends, but when it comes down to business, it's business, and you need things written in stone.
With friends?
With friends.
Point, going inside the courtroom.
Did you ever get a receipt from her at all? Because this is a piece of paper where you wrote something. Did you ever get this?
can I see that? Because
Yeah.
I don't remember getting that.
You may have?
I don't know. I don't think I got that. I don't know.
Okay, so that's written on the stationery of the second company you folks worked together at, where
Yes.
you were her boss.
Yep.
But that would not be unusual because everybody says the invoice, you say the invoice didn't come at all, and she says the invoice came after you came back from your honeymoon.
I don't
So-
remember getting that, but it was so long ago. I don't know.
There would be absolutely no reason for you to continue to pay if you didn't think that you hadn't fully paid yet. That's the weird part.
Well, I wasn't sure because I really didn't know.
Do you have any proof at all of having paid $300, then $150, then $250? You have zero proof? Boy, you're lucky she admits to $300, huh? Here's the thing. I have no idea. And the worst part is usually I have no idea, but you two have an idea and you're both a pair of liars. But you guys are so muddied up that I'm not even sure you two had a clear-cut idea on how much was supposed to be spent on this. And so what am I supposed to do when that happens? You know, you're the plaintiff and you're the person with the burden of proving your case. Here are the problems with your case. Number one, you wait 3 years to take it to court. You're still within the statute of limitations. But that's something that makes me go, if that money was really owed all this time, and it's not a matter of that you're disgruntled employee, because I've seen the email when you quit. If it wasn't a matter of all that, it's sure looking like a matter of all that. I have you claiming, and this is a problem with your defense, is that I paid over the amount that's here, but you have zero proof of having paid 1 penny, and that's no good, because cash should never leave this hand without a receipt coming into this hand. But how am I supposed to figure out what is owed on something when I don't know what the something is? I don't know that there was ever this agreement between you guys. I don't know how much the agreement was for. Can't do it. I just can't do it. You have the burden of proof in this case, and because of how hairy all this is and how informal and how the circumstances of the way it played out, I cannot find by a preponderance of the evidence how much is owed or if there even is still money owed. Verdict in this case for the defendants.
So the defendant prevails in this lawsuit against one-time friends. Obviously, you made this a very tough case for the judge. You had nothing to prove your point, you know?
Because I'm a sucker and I didn't get documents, and Carol's like Teflon, nothing sticks to her.
Well, you had no contract.
Yep.
Yep. Stupid.
Stupid.
You really do have an S
Yeah,
up
S
there.
for
It's
sucker.
hidden. Yep.
Yep.
Sorry, you learned the hard way.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, officer has some documents you must sign out there. Here now comes Mr. Davenport and Miss Davenport. You know, you're kind of in the same boat. You might have an S on your head too. Yes, you do.
Definitely.
I told her to get receipts. I told her to get to write checks, but she just.
Boy, you learn the hard way. Sorry, that's the way it works in court. You made it tough for the judge too. You should feel sorry for her.
Oh, you did.
I do.
Okay, you have to have some documents signed.
Thank you so much.
That'll bring the case to a close. Harvey?
So, you know, if you have an unenforceable contract, if it's incomplete, judge can still award the reasonable value of services. The problem here, the money was already paid, and there's no way of making heads or tails of it.